Hi guys, it's Vanessa Aitken from 360 Coaching and Stress Management. Welcome back. Today let's talk about anxiety. Let's talk about why anxiety can often occur and what we can do to turn it around so that you're feeling calm and happy again. In my professional world, there's thought to be only two ways of thinking. One way of thinking is incredibly helpful and the other way of thinking is unhelpful. And these two different ways of thinking produce very different ways of how we feel and how we behave. The first way of thinking is called above the line thinking. And this way of thinking usually creates more positive feelings, better emotional states. And the second way of feeling is called below the line thinking. And this way of thinking often produces feelings of stress, overwhelm, anxiety, anger, or any other negative emotional state. So in a nutshell, above the line thinking is when we take total control of how we experience the world. Now, above the line thinkers know that we can't always control what happens in the world. Sometimes bad stuff happens that shouldn't happen. But what we do know as above the line thinkers is that we can control how we experience and interpret what happened. We have the choice of whether going into overwhelm, which above the line thinkers don't do, or taking responsibility and choosing to feel in a more positive way or think in a more positive way about what happened. And usually what's happening when we become anxious is that we have fallen into some really unhelpful ways of thinking. Below the line thinking is about blame, denial, and justification. If people don't get the results they want, below the line thinkers blame other people, outside circumstances, or other things like, well, it's not my fault that it happened, or if she hadn't been around, it would have been a better time. And this way of thinking can often lead to anxious feelings or overwhelmed feelings. And below the line thinkers often justify why they haven't moved forward in life. Saying things like, I've had a really crappy life, or if you had this constant backache, you wouldn't be able to do anything either. And what usually happens is below the line thinkers wait for someone else to fix their problems. And I'll give you a tip. They usually wait a really long time too. Above the line thinking is very different. Above the line thinkers take responsibility for the results that we get. Above the line thinkers realize that if we get poor results, it's because we've put in poor effort, or we have to try it another way or do it differently. Above the line thinkers take positive action. If we're not happy with our current situation or circumstance, we will look for solutions and apply strategies to make it happen. So I'm going to ask you a question and I want you to answer it honestly. Which way of thinking are you currently in? And I'm tipping, but I could be really off base and I'm really happy to be wrong, but I'm tipping that you are stuck in below the line thinking at the moment. And because you're stuck in below the line thinking, you've got feelings of anxiety and feelings of overwhelm. You feel like you don't have control of the situation, and you feel that it's not your fault that you're feeling this way. You can change that. So let's get you out of below the line thinking and let's get you above the line thinking. So what you need to do in order to become an above the line thinker is you need to start asking yourself really different questions. I want you to stop right now asking why questions. And what I mean by why questions is questions like, why does this always happen to me? Or why has she got it and I don't? Or why is my life always a mess? This is a really unhelpful way of thinking, and it's below the line thinking. And your brain will give you answers to those questions, and the answers are never ever helpful. The answers are usually like, because you're not disciplined enough, you're lazy, you don't work hard enough, you're an idiot, you're a fool. Not really very helpful, responses. Above the line thinkers ask really different questions. They ask how questions. A how question is, for example, how can I have what she's having? or how can I improve this situation, or how can I move forward in my life? Your brain will answer the questions again, but this time your brain will answer in far more helpful ways. Ways such as, well, why don't you ask Sophie? She was able to do it. Or why don't you try this strategy? Or have a go at doing this. And your brain will come up with the answers that are right for you. So ditch the why questions and start asking the how questions. You'll find that over time your brain switches and you become much more above the line. So have a play with it, enjoy and have fun. And I look forward to hearing about your successes.